Hi, this is Tom Casababian, and this is my 1962 Devin-C. This Devin was manufactured by Bill Devin Sports Cars in Southern California. It's called a Devin-C because it's powered by a Corvair engine. It was first shown at the New York Auto Show in April 1962. The engine in this car came from Chevrolet Engineering, and it is a prototype of the Corvair Spider turbo engine that was first introduced earlier that year. In 1962, General Motors was the first manufacturer to use turbocharging on passenger cars with the Corvair Spider and the Oldsmobile Jetfire. I believe this Devin is most likely the world's first turbocharged sports car. After the auto show, the new owner, Pete Woods, drove the car to Colorado Springs and entered it into the Pikes Peak hill climb. This event is also known as the Race to the Clouds, because the finish line is over 14,000 feet high. Pete was a veteran of the hill climb and also successfully raced a D-type Jaguar on the West Coast during the late 1950s. Pikes Peak was also a favorite event for some of the Chevrolet engineering people, including the famous Zora Arkus-Duntov, and they were all interested in seeing this little car tackle Pikes Peak. Well, the Devin performed very well, finishing in 7th place, just behind the Corvettes. After the race, Pete drove the car to Southern California, where he was a sales manager for Hollywood Sports Cars. I purchased this car in 1971. It obviously had a very rough life up to that point and needed a lot of work, but it was in running condition. Because at that point in my life I didn't have the time or money to do a proper restoration on the car, the Devin went into storage. The car was stored in various garages until 1995, when I decided it was time to restore it. It was stripped down to the bare body, the fiberglass repaired, then repainted. Then the chassis, which is Volkswagen Type 1 in the front and Corvair in the rear, was cleaned, checked, and painted. The Girling disc brake assemblies, front and rear, were rebuilt with new pads. Since the original turbo engine had been seriously damaged, I built a 140 horsepower engine and installed it in the car just in time for the 1999 Corvair Society of America National Convention at Lake Tahoe. Bill Devin was there and assisted me in the final step of the restoration project, the installation of a Devin badge on the rear deck. Several years later, I discovered that the original turbo motor was an engineering-built prototype of the production Corvair Spider engine, and it had the engineering job number stamped in the crankcase. It was also equipped with a plastic cooling fan that was never used in production-built cars. So the motor was torn down and rebuilt with all original parts except for the alternator. Later in 2017, a group of Devin-C owners were invited to show our cars at the Quail event held on the Monterey Peninsula on the California coast. When we arrived at the showgrounds, I was expecting our cars to be placed in some distant location away from the factory displays. But this was not the case. The organizers, who must have been Devin fans, placed our cars right in the middle, between the Mercedes-Benz and Ferrari automobiles. Over 6,000 people paid $700 each to attend the event. Many celebrities were there, including Roger Penske and Jay Leno. We were honored to be part of that event and our Devin's recognition as a true classic automobile. If you recall seeing a photo earlier in the video of a little girl standing next to this car before it was restored, that was my daughter Robin, and she's going to come now and take the car for a little spin.